you're spoiled. There you go. Good. Spoiled and not hungry, so that's a good thing. Hey everybody, I was talking the other day about Tiger King and the fact that there's tasty, huh? The fact that there's more tigers in cages in the U.S. than there are occupying the entire rest of the world in the wild, and kind of brings me to my passion of conservation, especially fighting rhino and elephant poachers in Africa. The COVID-19 outbreak has caused kind of a new battlefront where the parks and game reserves and so forth, vast areas of land are shut down to tourists over there now. So what was occupied by safari operators and tourists and their support is now just empty land. There's nothing there to keep check and watch over it, and it's opened up new golden opportunities for the poachers, and the death toll on rhinos and elephants has escalated accordingly because of it. The harsh reality in Africa is nothing dies of old age. Once you're past your prime, something's going to take you out. When you translate that over into conservation terms, if it pays, it stays. It's a big challenge convincing native people in small villages and so forth surrounding these areas to treat the wildlife as a renewable asset, as a valuable resource, rather than just looking at it as a threat, a food source, or source of profit. They have to be convinced that sustainable utilization is far better than just immediate gratification, running something into localized extinction because you've used it up. Convincing them to report, hey, I don't have any more. Convincing them to report a problem lion that's killing their livestock or threatening their way of life is tough. And the same thing with elephants that are trampling their crops. And I didn't bring any more. And it's always a challenge. Get back, buddy. It's always a challenge. But with proper management, there's many areas of Africa that have more wildlife and bigger herds than they've ever had before. One of the methods used is donating kudu, buffalo, wildebeest, impala, and other meats from hunting camps in trade for the promise that they won't poach bushmeat, and also telling them that the first person that is caught poaching bushmeat will stop the donations of meat that far exceed what they could poach anyway, so it gives them a great incentive to not do that. I was once told by a manager of a very large game reserve in Namibia that the government there gave them 6 elephants a year to sell off to trophy hunters. And as objectionable as that may be to a lot of people, the reality of it is that those 6 elephants generated more revenue going back into the economy and into conservation efforts than 60,000 photo tourists. And when you think the environmental impact, the 60,000 tourists and the support vehicles and the roads and the accommodations and just everything involved in supporting that many people, the impact that it has on the environment compared to 6 hunting parties, it's not too hard to figure that out. And on top of that, most of the hunting people occupy or use areas of Africa that are far more remote than the photo tourists use anyway. Another thing, when the airlines banned the export of lion trophies after the Cecil the lion debacle, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife banned the importation of lion trophies, it was deemed as a victory by many on our hemisphere, but as a source of big frustration for people that are actually operating in Africa. Now, instead of a lion being reported and utilized as a sustainable resource to generate revenue and so forth, they're just poisoned or killed and left to lay in a field to rot, and they're of no use to anybody. One of the examples I like to use that I'm a fan of over there, because I'm a diver and I go down to Cape Town quite often, is the great white shark. It was one of the most feared animals on the planet for many years, decades. Actually, ever since the movie Jaws came out, Peter Benchley actually spent his life trying to undo the damage he did by making great whites so feared. But now great whites are considered, every great white in Mossel and False Bay is considered to generate over $2 million a year in tourist revenue. Instead of being feared like they used to be, they're adamantly protected. In general, wildlife crime is the fourth most lucrative crime in the world, paling only next to human trafficking, arms trafficking, and of course drugs are the biggest one. The wildlife trade generates more than $13 billion a year, and it's going to decimate the planet. Anything we can do, anything you can do to help in educating or raising awareness or raising funds, whatever, is absolutely necessary. Hey, thanks for your time. I'll see you guys tomorrow.